In this episode, we will talk more about your Filipina partner's family and how they attempt to extract money from you any chance they get. I am not talking about those restaurant visits, birthday parties, or the festivals. I'm talking about directly trying to receive financial aid from you. On Reddit, a cis artist says, her relatives always try to milk us. My wife, Filipina wife, 32, and I, 52 American, live in comfortable life in Ayala, but it seems that her relatives are always trying to milk us in some manner. Latest is her niece, who asked my wife for money for a new laptop for school. After we spoke about, I agreed with my wife's request and gave her the money. The niece even showed us her report card telling us that she is an excellent student. Turns out she is 6 months pregnant and not even going to school. Maybe she is an excellent con artist. Producing a report card that looked legitimate. As I explained to my wife, we have enough money to live a comfortable life, but our resources are not infinite. Still, she doesn't understand. This is a story. However, he does not come across very good in this story. Firstly, she is not a con artist. It does not take much to forge a report card. Secondly, what do you mean with your wife's request? Did you forget that you are the man, that you hold the money, that it is because of you that this woman has a decent life? Once again, 32 versus 52, 20 years age gap. Although, in a bigger picture compared to other relationships, not as large of an age gap as some, because this woman is in her 30s, it's still quite a large age gap. 2 decades between the two, meaning most likely the reason she is with you is for financial gain and for getting things from you that she would normally not receive from a Filipino husband, and money is one of those things. Others in the comments say, Alpi Man says, it's your wife's fault that such things are happening. Possibly they think that you're easy to milk and easy to fool. You're not responsible from her family or extended family. If you don't stop, it will continue forever, and they will not respect you. Yes, that's correct, but many do not respect him right now, and Consistent Self explains why. He says, bullshit. It's also his fault for not standing firm and saying no to these requests. Once one family member finds out the bank is open, the line will appear. You give to one already, and now he'll be asshole for turning down others, and his name will be mud among her family. The true colors will start to come out, and it can strain his marriage. That's correct, because now the entire family knows that you are a fool, that all they have to do is have a sob story or provide a forged receipt to receive money from you. Laptops are not cheap, they cost money, and probably 6 months worth of salary for many people. So the fact that you gave that much money to someone who simply wanted one says a lot about you, and now the bank is open. Any blacksmith says, you have to just put your foot down and tell your wife you're not going to give money anymore. Best to do it now, whilst the niece's betrayal is still fresh in her mind. The requests shouldn't even be reaching you because your wife should just be batting them away. The original post, the person says, yes, I've already had that conversation with her. She says she understands. For her own good, I hope she does. I even went as far as telling her that when I die, the money is for her to live a comfortable life, but she gives it away, she will just end up destitute like her family. If you have to explain to your wife that once you die, the money is gone if she gives it to her relatives, there is no hope for her. Many people in the Philippines do not have a very high IQ, let alone to try to sort out finances after someone is deceased. Dragonfruit says you need to have a long talk with your wife and explain to her that you can only provide for her and not her family. If she doesn't understand that, then I don't think she respects you, nor does she love you. She probably has this mindset that you can pay for everything because you are a foreigner, which is common, but your wife should be the first person not to take advantage of you, and with her letting her family treat you like this, it speaks a lot for itself. Good luck out there. Precisely. However, many men forget that these thoughts and advice come from people who think they are in equal relationships or that the man is a leader of a relationship. We must remember that many men that actually marry a Filipina are not very bright or strong. They are not alpha males. They are simps, just disguised as a husband. It is sad and maybe too hurtful to hear, but it is the truth. Most of them have no spine. They cannot put their foot down, make firm decisions, and essentially allow the woman to run them, run their relationship, and many have even labeled these men as masochists. These men do this knowingly. Sometimes these type of men exist because deep down they aren't a man enough. They do not understand the dynamics of marrying a Filipina and what it requires. OK Personality says, it's the Filipino way. Leave the leeches to their own devices. I got screwed over by wife's siblings and brothers. 5,000 pesos for the last payment of their motorbike. They promised to pay me back. That was almost a year ago now. Then we tried to help her lowly paid brother, who earns 750 pesos daily, by buying ourselves a 7-seater brand new Toyota for him to use as a Grab taxi. Had leather seats put in, satellite navigation, dashcam, and tracking device. We were running around to all the different Grab offices, dealing with all the bureaucracy, paying for a Grab license, only for the lazy brother to work 4 hours, earn 3 times what he gets paid for doing a 10-hour, 12-hour shift, then giving up. As soon as brother needs him for his business, they don't help themselves. My wife and I refuse to help them now. We have a pretty decent life with our 2 little ones. Every night, the brothers drink, gamble, party, when work the next day. Then they don't help themselves. We don't either. I learned my lesson. Imagine going to the Philippines, buying a 7-seater vehicle just for someone's sibling to use as a Grab, going through all the bureaucracy if you've lived in the Philippines and tried to have any governmental paperwork accomplished. You know that it's a severe headache, and for this person to simply not be appreciative, try it for 4 hours, and simply abandon the whole new project. Fall Odd says, I'm handling a divorce for a guy in more or less exactly your situation. He's a bit older, very much the same steady flow of requests for her family, cause of various reasons, and pretext $100,000 in his case. I will be surprised if it isn't pretty standard. My client got a visa for her to come to his own country, but after he made it clear that he expected her to work and that her earnings should go into the joint account he also put money into, the sex dried up and she treated him like he didn't exist. She kicked him out of the place they are renting and has been denying him contact to their daughter. I feel like this is pretty much the business model. How many stories like this must we hear before men start to actually understand what is going on in the Philippines and the fact that you cannot simply come here and find the woman of your dreams? Banana Hammock Tragedy says, an interesting thing is that typical divorce isn't legal here. It's possible now, but needs some very extreme circumstances. About most doable is an annulment, which is not a divorce, and even those take a long time and money. Personally, I don't recommend getting married in the Philippines someone unless there are a minimum of 1 to 2 years and a person experiencing with her, and even then, people can often do change over time, and foreigners' large underestimation or misunderstanding of how Philippines families view God first, family second, foreigner husband third also can cause major issues down the road. And the money and gift giving family support stuff should have been fully agreed upon and even tested before the wedding happens. That is an excellent piece of advice, and it is something that all men should be aware of. These are discussions you need to be having before you ever get married, although I don't see why anyone would get married to a Filipina or any other woman for that matter. Think of it, you have to have a plan. Let them know who is in charge of the budget, who is making the money, how much money is expected or agreed upon by sending or giving to her family to help out, if any at all. You should not marry someone, then be surprised regarding your responsibilities when it comes to money giving to the family. This is how it should be done. Obsessed Cunt says, dude, I'm a Filipina, and maybe you married a traditional. It's a problem in the sucking culture that they are married, but they still help whoever is in their responsibility because that's how ridiculous the upbringing here is. Objective Highlight says, welcome to the club. My wife used to get tired of giving one of her sisters money and things as they would end up pawned. The last straw was her second laptop in 10 years, planned for online karaoke, which was pawned to take a second honeymoon. 1 week later, before she cut her off, you know what you sign up for. Either she has to work through this with her family, or you have to work it out with your wife. My wife didn't have to work, but she busted her butt every day and still sent part of her paycheck to her mother for bills and emergencies. Here is today's catfish. How do you go from this to this? Oftentimes, Filipino women will post photos of themselves from 10 or 15 years ago, or photos of themselves when they were 10 or 15 pounds lighter. Which will you see if you actually meet her? Subscribe to the channel, click like, thumbs up, share, super thanks, so we can please the YouTube overlords and let people know of the truth and facts of this country. Best comment from yesterday's video is from Alexander. Halitosis, the medical term for bad breath, is now a common oral problem among Filipinos, particularly those living in rural areas. And the worst comment is from Sales8085. Having a bit of upper lip hair is a turn on for me. Thanks for watching. God bless.